Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 12 at Saratoga on Saturday is the Grade 2 Glens Falls Stakes for fillies and mares going 1 3/8 miles, 3 turns around the inner turf course at Saratoga. You can bet this race, you can bet the Woodward, you can bet all the races at Saratoga on Saturday with a DRF Bets account, 10 times the sign-up bonus. DRF.com/bet is where you need to go for all the information. Here's the field for the Glens Falls. Guess what? Chad Brown is very well represented in this turf race for fillies and mares. He's got the 6-5 morning line favorite in the number 5, Santa Monica. Recent winner of the Grade 2 Dance Smartly over 2 next out winners. Boy, I thought she got a great setup in that race.
Yeah, just in case, by the way, you don't like her, Chad also has the 2nd and the 3rd choice on the morning line. So, you know, there are ways to go. Listen, Santa Monica, I'm with you in that she looked good winning that race last time, but boy, did that race set up really well for her with her another race where Chad had more than one in there. Her stablemate Inflexibility really, I thought, ran a good race, setting a really fast pace in that race. It set the race up well for Santa Monica. You know, I like all 3 of her races since Chad took over. For a mare who was, what was she, 2 for 22 in Ireland? And she, you know, not that much horse over there, got over here. Now she's 2 for 3. Could easily be 3 for 3 because I thought she ran great in the Sheep's Head Bay as well. He's obviously improved her, Dan. I don't know how interested I am at her, in betting her at around even money, but I guess she's the horse to beat.
She's the horse to beat. Really, in her Sheep's Head Bay, you could argue she was the best horse. There's no pace for her to run at in that race. She got the pace last time out. Let's see what kind of pace she gets in the Glens Falls Stakes, or at least what our friends at Timeform US believe is going to happen up front. They've got the 4 and the 8 out there on the lead with the 2 in second. Let's talk a little bit about the number 4. That is Danceland, coming off of a really good trip win at Saratoga on August the 2nd. She beat On the Moon again that day, but it was a tale of 2 trips, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. We care to make a wager here that she's not?
I'm guessing she's not.
I don't see how she's anywhere near the lead halfway through this race, but we'll see what happens. That's not her running style. If nothing else, Danceland is just one of those typical shug horses, finding herself race by race, improving all the time. I suspect she'll get this far. You never know until they try. This is the first time they're going to go along with her. I suspect she'll get this far, but she also really has to improve again. I liked her win last time. I thought she ran fine. Obviously, anybody who saw the replay of the race realizes that On the Moon again had a lot of trouble in the stretch of that race. It felt to me like On the Moon again wasn't that sharp in that race anyway. Maybe she takes a step forward here in her 2nd start for Chad. But Danceland is fine. She's a good horse headed the right way.
But I know you were just joshing about the pace projector, but the point, a deeper point that you're making there is this is a very strange pace scenario. There are no burners in this race, and that could hurt Santa Monica.
Yeah, it's not going to set up the same way for Santa Monica that her last race did, and she's one of those horses who likes to sit and make a run, so you're right that could really work against her. I suspect you'll see a horse like, most likely, the horse like the 2, Savannah Bell, the big long shot, probably out there on the lead.
I think she goes out there on the lead, and I think the 8 Lady Montdor sits second. Lady Montdor made her first start in North America off of a long layoff. She's got a really beautiful pedigree. I thought she ran great. She got a nice trip sitting in behind, but I thought that was a pretty solid pace for that good turf course that day. She collared the favorite turning into the stretch and then just ran away from that field. Now she had a little bit of heat exhaustion after the race. That doesn't really worry me at all. I think a good trip is coming. I think she's lightly raced, and if she's a price, you could play her.
I mean, I agree with all that stuff. You know, it's just funny. You know, she got up here off of that long layoff. She got a perfect trip. It was a relatively weak field. There were a lot of horses in there who just aren't that good, and the ones that are pretty good just felt like they didn't run at all that day. And so she took advantage a little bit, but she also won really easily. She's got a ton of upside, and the thing that I like most about her is she's just one of those horses. You know, she's a Godolphin filly, but she's not from connections. They're going to make her take a lot of money. She's going to be a square price.
And she's not one of those European late closers, one-run closers that don't get out of the gate. She's going to get the jump on the favorites turning into the stretch. How much upside does Homeland Security have? Heck, she's only started 6 times for Chad Brown. She's won 2 out of her last 3. Thought she got a great trip and ride in the River Memory Stakes. She was able to save ground, a little bit tight turning into the stretch, but when she got to the outside, she handled the rest of that field. These are better.
Yeah, it's a tougher spot. They're stepping her up in class, but I'm probably stepping her up in a race that they're supposed to take a shot at because she's improving all the time too. Distance is no problem for her. And I feel like she'll be closer to the pace than some other horses too. I mean, there are some races in her past where she came from out of it. They kept her closer last time, tracking right in behind the lead. And I know Savannah Bell was the horse on the lead in there. She was a huge long shot. This horse didn't even really get by her till about the 16th pole. But once she got by her, she went on with it. That was 1.5 miles. This is a little shorter. I think she'll get a good trip in this race. And I think she's one, you know, if Chad's 3, maybe she's the one who takes the biggest step forward in here.
Lamont Agree, the number 7, was wired by a rejuvenated Lady Joan last time out. That horse came back to run second in the Yaddo with the 92 Beyer speed figure. My one issue with Lamont Agree is she seems kind of a one-pace outpaced sort, which is good for this distance, but at some point the pace quickens up and she just gets sort of outpaced for a while, and then she grinds it along late. I'm not sure she's good enough to overcome that sort of running style in this field.
Yeah, I agree. I just think she's facing better horses here. She wants to go this far. The distance is no problem for her, but she's not as good as some of the horses in this
Can
race.
Savannah Bell steal this race on the lead? Because I thought her River Memories was okay, Mike. I know she had to move real early. Jose Ortiz brushed to clear to the lead down on the backstretch to make the front, and I think she moved a little bit too early with Savannah Bell, who fought really hard in the stretch just to lose to Homeland Security. I won't hold the dirt race against her last time out. Can she wire this field, or is she just not good enough?
Yeah, I thought it would be tough for her. I hear what you're saying with the early move last time. In a lot of ways, I feel like that was a good move by Jose, though, to take that race over, give her a real chance to win. I thought she did her best with it, couldn't hold Homeland Security at the end. She was a big price there. She was a big price 3 starts back, too. She ran well in that race, too. I do think she's improved for Brian Lynch. I think she has to improve again.
I think she probably has to improve again. She needs a lot of things to go her way, but at 20-1, she's a curious pace play at the very least, because you got to think these horses aren't going to respect her too much on the lead. All right, it's time for our top selections for the Glens Falls Stakes. I'm going to go with a horse that in the past has run well at Saratoga and then seemingly went off form for a while, and that's the #1 Somersault. Now, Somersault, I thought last year had some trips in some of her races that really never worked out. I was really disappointed in that Sheepshead Bay, and I know there was no pace on that day, but she never fired at all, and I was beginning to think maybe it's over. A little better last time out in the River Memories. Now, Johnny V gave her a nice ride where she followed the winner, Homeland Security, throughout, but at least she showed a little bit of life. She likes the distance. I think she can be a little bit closer to the pace if Jose Lizcano is somewhat aggressive out of there. And I know she likes the distance in the spot. She's going to be a price. Listen, Santa Monica's the horse to beat.
That's the thing with her. You know, she's used to, we'll see if she still has it. I don't know
Maybe
if
she does.
She used to be very versatile as far as her running style goes. I don't know if she still has it anymore, but I'm with you. She took a little step forward last time because I was starting to think that she couldn't run anymore. Last time, some signs of life. So we'll see what happens. I did take On the Moon again. Obviously, her form in France is going to make her really tough in this race. And when she came over for that sort of a layoff, first of all, you know, for Chad to run her in an allowance race going a mile and 1/8, it might have been a little short for her. I don't know if you agree with this. I want to get your take on this. Obviously, Castellano trying to come up the inside in that race when there just was no room, and it was completely his fault in there. She didn't get through. She got totally shut off late. But I feel like he kept her in because he didn't have enough horse to go around. On the turn, when I was watching that race around that second turn, he could have gotten her out to the clear, and he didn't go around horses, and I think he didn't go around because he didn't have enough horse to go around. So his only choice was to try and come up the inside, and it didn't work out. I think she runs better in this race and takes a step forward, and I think if she does that, maybe she's just too good for this.
No, I think she needed that race.
Yeah, I think she did
and I do think that she was using that. Chad was using that as sort of a prep,
I think
a sprint prep for a mile and 3/8 race.
That's how I look at it. We'll see.
And again, her class lines in France speak for themselves. Mike's going 3, 5, 8, and 6. I'm going to go with the 1 and the 5 keying in the Grade 2 Glens Falls Stakes. Race number 12 at Saratoga on Saturday has an approximate post time of 7:17 Eastern. You're going to want to play it with a DRF Bets account and 10 times the bonus that goes along with it. DRF.com/bet is where you need to go for all of the details. Best of luck in the Grade 2 Glens Falls.